One of the more frequent requested movies for me to talk about, so here we finally have it, The Babadook. A 2014 independent Australian horror movie that people hyped up to be, like the return to true horror. With that being an attack on the recent, mostly American horror movies that Hollywood spits out, like Annabelle and Ouija. Not that I've seen those, but I'm also not really interested in seeing those movies because, well, mostly I don't like jump scares. As a matter of fact, I kinda hate them. I mean, that's not what I watch horror movies for. I mean, I want to be scared, not startled. Even the name is a little misleading, like jump scare. That would indicate that it's scary, but it's not. I mean, I could just cut in here like a scary face together with a boom, like a super loud noise, but would that make this video scary? No. Should I do it though? Nah, I won't. Or will I? No, I won't, because I hate jump scares. Really, if anything, they should call it jump effects, because that's really what it is, just a little trick to make you jump. But enough about this rant. If anything, check out this video by Chris Stockman called The Problem with Horror Movies Today, which he uploaded not too long ago, and he actually made that video after seeing The Babadook. He perfectly explains the problem, and I mostly agree with his opinions and arguments, so check that one out if you want. So, for now, my take on The Babadook. I kept this video spoiler free, for everybody to enjoy, except for one bit, but I'll give you like a heads up so it will be easy to skip, Okay. The Babadook tells the story of this woman called Amelia and her son Sammy. Daddy, unfortunately, isn't around anymore since he died in a car accident while bringing Amelia to the hospital to give birth to Sammy. Whew. An anecdote that Sammy doesn't seem to mind sharing with total strangers.
My dad's in the cemetery.
Oh, that's...
He got killed driving Mum to the hospital to have me.
Samuel.
Weird kid.
Couldn't agree more, George Sr. And his mother is getting real tired of his shit too, since he's starting to bring weapons to school and he takes this being scared of monsters thing to a new high, especially after being read to from this mysterious book called Mr. Babadook. All of this is becoming a little too much for Amelia, and soon she starts to get scary visions as well, and they are starting to bring her down and really drive her to insanity. And that's not a bad setup for a storyline. And if you think of it, it actually sounds more like a drama rather than a straight up horror movie. But then again, if you watch the trailer, it does look a lot like just a straight up horror movie. And that's kind of the problem. If you watch the trailer, if you see the trailer, audience expects something that is really not quite like the movie at all. And that's also exactly the reason why I try to avoid trailers as much as possible, especially for movies that I'm really excited about. And now I suggest you do the same with The Babadook if you haven't heard of it before, so just skip the trailer, just watch the movie. Whether people like or dislike this movie, you simply can't really say that it's a bad movie. As in, as a production, it's rather well made. It looks great, it has nice subtle cinematography, and I really like the house, the house where they live. A lot of scenes are set there. It has this authentic look and beautiful bluish hue. And I love Mr. Babadook, the actual book itself. It looks great, and I really, really dig the artwork. You can actually even buy this book, which will be an extended version of the one that you'll see in the movie. And that's pretty cool. I mean, for 80 bucks, it better be. But yeah, the movie is a feast for the eye, so to say. I am not too familiar with Australian cinema and its actors, so I can't really say a lot about them. Besides that, in this movie, most of them give great performances. I did, however, recognize one actor, this guy. He also played the main serial killer in Snowtown. It's funny how in The Babadook he plays the complete opposite. He's like one of the nicest guys ever. He actually seems like a really great actor. I mean, I loved him in Snowtown. The kid, however, not too much.
How does your mum know if it's real or not? She never comes to our house. Mum told
I know it's hard to find young actors that are really good, and some would argue that you can't blame or judge a movie for mediocre performances by the younger actors. But you kinda can. I mean, especially in this movie, he's a vital part of the stories, so it's hard to ignore. He's not terrible, mostly just annoying. But then again, that's kind of the point, I guess. So if that's what they were going for, kudos. But, of course, most praise should go to Essie Davis, who plays Amelia, the protagonist. She really gives a great performance where she had to act through a range of emotions, you know, from, well, somewhat happy to completely down on her luck and basically everything in between, including going batshit crazy. So, all in all, like I said, you simply can't say that it's a bad movie. But is it scary? I mean, that's probably what you all want to know, with this movie being like a return to true horror. Well, a little bit. But you know, in a good way, a little bit. I mean, it was creepy. It had an eerie atmosphere going on mostly throughout the whole movie. But at the same time, I was still able to just sit back, relax, and really just enjoy this movie, you know? Why? Because there are no jump scares. Well, maybe 2 small ones. But they happen relatively early on in the movie. I actually wrote down on a note all the jump scares while watching this movie because I was curious how often this would happen, and really these were the only 2. I can never really read my own notes though. And isn't that great? I mean, they're scary, creepy moments without relying too much on music or sound effects. And some of the scary moments aren't even monster related. It's often the horror in real life things. You know, like Amelia that's having like a nervous breakdown. But still, what is this monster, this Babadook, you might ask yourself? Well, that's why you should check out the movie, you know, to find out for yourself. But still, I do want to talk about it a little bit, or maybe a lot of it, which means that the next segment is going to contain quite some spoilers. So if you want to skip any spoiler, just skip to this time mark in the video and then everything will be alright. Okay? Okay. My interpretation, which I believe is basically just the general interpretation, is that the Babadook is nothing more than a metaphor, a personification, if you will, of the effects and results of depression and grief. In this specific case with Amelia, caused by the death of her husband, of course. She's not dealing well with the whole situation. She doesn't talk about it, she doesn't want help. She just puts those emotions and feelings away. You know, she hasn't accepted the loss, she hasn't given it a place in her life. And remember that last bit. Really, that's what the whole movie is about, and if you read the book like that, it makes perfect sense. Well, parts of it at least. The more you deny it, the stronger I get. That's depression for you right there. So, in the end, mega spoiler, the Babadook is still there, but only in the basement, which would be a metaphor for the place. She's now accepted the loss of her husband, and she's given her emotions, the grief, a special place. It's not completely gone, but she now accepts it as part of her life and is able to live with it, you know, like to move on. I know, that still leaves a lot of questions, you know, like where did the actual book come from, or how can it affect the kid as well? But, you know, that's for you to decide, or to read about on, for example, on the IMDb message board. I mean, there's a lot of nerds out there with quite interesting and actually quite plausible explanations. And by nerds, I mean the cool kids. So yeah, great movie. Not perfect though. Like I said, the little boy was a little annoying at points. And towards the end of the movie, he goes on this Home Alone style booby trap rampage, which was a little ridiculous and kind of broke the whole, you know, like the whole vibe that I was in while watching it. It took me a bit out of the movie, which is a shame. And in all honesty, I wish they'd shown even less of the monster. Halfway through the movie, there's a scene where the monster makes its presence quite apparent, which in my opinion really wasn't all that necessary. Really, the idea of the monster is much more scary than the monster itself. So there you have it, The Babadook, a great drama / psychological horror thriller. You know, I always just make up and mash up the genres. Definitely recommend it if you haven't seen it yet, no doubt. It might not be the most scary experience in your whole life, but it'll definitely be a great experience. It's a great movie. I liked it. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video or the stuff on my channel in general, please consider supporting all of that by going over to patreon.com/horrible-reviews. There's a short video on that page, just check it out, that will explain everything. By doing so, it'll make it easier for me to make more videos and, you know, crank up the quality a little bit. You see the list of people over there? They are already supporting and, you know, that's awesome. Thank you guys. If not, doesn't matter, nothing will change. I mean, I'll still try to make as many videos as possible. So thank you and see you next time.